Welcome to The Real Tea. I'm your host, Tammy Murphy, broker owner of RH2L, bringing Miami Valley real homes to love.
And I'm Ellie Sollenberger to give my perspective as a home buyer.
We're going to give you the key to Miami Valley real estate.
All right, so before we dive in today, I want to ask you about Risa Tisa.
Okay.
So are you on TikTok?
Yeah, a little bit.
A lot recently?
Nah.
Okay, so last week, this video came up on my For You page. This lady started this series, Who the Fuck Did I Marry?
Okay.
She basically did 50 parts on marrying this con artist. And one of the main things throughout this story is that he showed her a pre-approval from Chase Bank for a $700,000 home and then took her on multiple housing tours and started putting offers in.
Okay, so he's just a guy she met, or she's married to him.
No, they start dating.
Okay, so they were dating. And
Yep.
he pulls out this pre-approval, like we're going to get a house together type of thing?
Yes, and this is May, June of 2020.
Okay.
So you're coming out of quarantine. They met right before quarantine started.
Okay.
Like 2 weeks before quarantine. They quarantine together. They decide that this is it. They're going to get married and they're going to buy a house.
Okay.
And so he shows her this pre-approval for $700,000. She looks online. She finds this house. They contact a realtor and they put an offer in for $650,000 house.
Okay.
They don't get it because he never really put an offer in. It was all fake. He never worked with the realtor that they were working with. He never sent the fake pre-approval. And then he tells her that they didn't get it and makes up some story and then goes into, we're going to keep looking for houses and now we're going to do cash offers.
Okay.
So the realtor that they were working with at the time did not get proof of funds. And the big question is, do you show proof of funds before or after an offer is accepted?
Wow, I have so many questions. Like, you did this on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, there is supposed to be a process here, right? As an individual, you don't know what that is. So I guess I could understand how she would know what was going on or that something wasn't taking place that it needs to.
Right. And she's never bought a house before.
Right.
And so she's only listening to what he's saying.
What
and
he
he
said.
shows her this paper that
Yeah.
has the Chase logo at the top that says
Yeah.
he's approved for $700,000.
And then I guess that interaction that they have, are they together talking with their realtor that's supposed to be representing them?
Correct.
Okay. And that realtor then didn't get proof of funds from them?
Not before he went to put an offer in.
Okay. So, the pre-approval letter is a part of that process of saying you have this ability. I always like to know that the mortgage company, the lender, if there is a pre-approval that is sent, that a buyer already has it, which sometimes happens. Buyers will come to me and say, hey, I already have my pre-approval. Let me send you a copy of it. Great. But my due diligence is to make sure that I've reached out to that lender. If it's somebody that I know, I'm absolutely calling them, hey, what's going on? Is there anything that I need to be aware of? If it's somebody that I don't know, then I have to introduce myself and say, hey, I'm going to be working with, we've got a joint client. We're going to be looking at properties. Is there anything I need to know? And I think that would be a first step to making sure that you are legitimate, right? That you have a piece of paper that actually represents what your ability is. If the lender says, I don't know who you're talking about, or I don't know I don't know this person, then obviously there's a red flag. So I'm a red flag person. And once one comes up, then I'm looking to see.
This story was the Olympics of red flags.
Oh,
She
is that right?
says it, yeah.
Well, see, good. Yeah, because as the buyer's agent, you want to know that they're qualified. So the pre-approval, if you bring it, then I want to confirm it. And some sellers in this market especially will even ask for proof of funds. They want to know that you're able to do this.
So that's what happened. They go to the second house. And this point, the market's changed where it's no longer mortgages that are being accepted. It is cash offers only.
Yeah.
And I think he knew that. So he said, okay, well, we're going to start putting in cash offers. And we're going to put cash offers in of $750,000 plus homes. And so before the seller's realtor took their offer, she wanted to see proof of funds.
Yep.
And so now there's kind of a big debate on TikTok right now. Is proof of funds need to be shown before or after to a seller's agent?
So it usually would be part of what you would submit with the offer. To be correct, if I'm sending the offer for my buyers, I'm sending a pre-approval letter from a lender with the offer that shows that they're able to perform. So if you're making a cash offer, then you're submitting documentation that shows that you've got the proof of funds to be that cash buyer. That's a reasonable expectation from both sides, for the buyer to be prepared to do that and from the seller side. I think we had a situation where we had increased our purchase price and maybe waived the appraisal gap. That we said, if there is a difference here, we're going to be willing to do this. Then the pushback was, well, do they even have the funds to do it? Now that's a different story. Now you can see where, well, of course we have the funds or we wouldn't have made the offer. But now you might be a little concerned, am I giving over my information when I don't even know if I have an accepted offer? You're using this maybe to compete with others. I mean, there's reasons why people are not upfront or not wanting financial information to be disclosed until it has to be. But you have to also understand what the process is supposed to be, is that you wouldn't want a seller to take their home off the market and accept your cash offer and you're not able to do it.
Right. So in the story, his uncle told him that he shouldn't provide the proof of funds from his offshore bank account until his offer was accepted.
And that, I mean, I would say that's, I don't know about the word offshore account, but that certainly raised a flag there. But I think that you wouldn't just want to put out private information, financial details, account information, unless you're in the deal. So I understand that perspective to say, when my offer is accepted, I will provide you with the proof of funds. Now, it could be that you write the language in there that proof of funds will be provided with accepted offer. Seller to have 24 hours to notify that they accept the offer after receiving it, or that they could rescind the offer after receiving that information if it's not up to their liking, right? So there's some catchphrases, clauses that could be used for either side to give that protection. You don't want your private information just going out there being not considered, right?
Yeah, so is this something in the industry where you rely on the buyer's agent, that they have already done all their research and checked all the boxes?
So you would like to think, if I represent the seller, I have to represent the seller's best interests. So what I'm going to ask for, look for, and do is going to be different than if I'm on the buyer's side of the transaction. I'm protecting the buyer during that process. So the seller's agent should absolutely be going to bat, asking for, do you have proof of funds? We want to make sure that you're qualified, that you're pre-approved before there's a showing request. These things are all taken care of. As the buyer's agent, you want to know before you start driving all over and showing properties and spending time that somebody is able to perform what they need to do. So maybe it's not the first day. Maybe you meet somebody and they want to take a look at a house and you go through it. But during that time, you're going to be talking about, are you pre-approved with a lender? Do you need some names? Do you have your contacts? Because if you're interested in making an offer on this house, we need to have these things in place. So maybe not the first day when you meet the buyer, but definitely if you're going to write an offer, you need to have those things taken care of. And it's easier to do that ahead of doing the offer, not getting your hopes up, knowing that you can actually qualify for the loan if you're getting a loan.
Yeah. Okay. And so not to give away any spoilers in the story, but he did not have any funds in any account. It was all screenshots. And they worked with another realtor a year later where that lady said, I need to see your proof of funds before I put in any offers, before I show any houses
Yeah.
and whatever. So it was just kind of two different realtors working different ways.
Correct. And I guess I'm looking at the person who's married in this situation. So I saw this going down even another pathway of now he's asking her to front money so that they could put the down payment or do these things, and it, becomes even a bigger scam, con job, or anything like that. I mean, there are horror stories out there. The industry, not from the industry perspective is exactly, but people see an opportunity of what that can be taken advantage of, and nobody should ever want to feel like they're being taken advantage of. So that's the reason why sellers and buyers having an agent represent their best interest is really important, because between the two professionals, they're covering both sides of the transaction. Hopefully when you get to the closing table, everybody feels like this has been a good process, everybody's been represented, and no hard feelings.
Right.
It's not good when you get to there and you feel like somebody got over on you, and now you really are grumbling through, and now you're going to be stuck with what you got, right?
Right.
Don't want that.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that this story was actually real life and not scripted by Hollywood.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to watch this, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today on the Realty Podcast. If you enjoyed the knowledge and entertainment today, please subscribe and share with your friends. Every other week, we will be embarking on a journey that bridges the gap between realtors and clients, uncovering the heart and tea of real estate.